Please get into the same URL and enter the top 749654.
Right, what's the code? We need the code. There's exit the full screen.
Slideshow.
So 7496546. That's the code. 7496546.
And start. Kindly give your full name.
First questions will be are they prescribed or no? There's a weightage.
More is more. Morning is around asking.
Press party. And party. Indian is not forward.
Did they get all correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Let me correct answer.
Can we see the score?
Please.
So a couple of things, right? Prompt engineering is not fine tuning. Yeah, right. That's important. Prompt engineering is just giving some guidance to this model so that it will give you the output that is specific to your needs. Versus fine tuning means you're taking this base model and then retraining for it to do something like more specialized, specific.
You can't see their answers.
I'm just curious.
Total marks. Well, I think one question.
So 1,000 for a question, right? Like the highest is 4,000. And then see, language models are those who basically the entire GPT works by trying to guess what the next word should be based on the words that's already generated. Right? It's like a sequence of a chain. So that's what predicting the next word based on the existing sequence of words is basically what language models do. All right, great. We'll take a coffee break. We are kind of running late, so 10 minutes, a good coffee break. Huh? It's in the back, coffee in the back of the cafeteria.
Just take a break for 10 minutes. So all these snacks are arranged in the cafeteria. Virtual also.
Guys, those who are in virtual, you can have your own coffee break.
But there is a possibility of entering misinformation. Let's say I have another question. That's not the same question. So what I'm saying is, I have a company X. Let's say from our example, Air India. Before I didn't see a lot of negative information about Air India, but last 3 months there are a lot of negative news on Air India. So company Y might be uploading a lot of document based on some negativity. So how do you use a ChatGPT effectively to verify those kind of fake and real? How to attach those?
Yeah, I think how do you abuse? Feedback. There's a feedback. Recording there. I mean, recording. See, plagiarism is okay. That's the. If somebody, let's say, for example, in the education space, if you're asked an article about, okay, you can just ask ChatGPT to write an article, right? If you're a good prompt engineer, you'll get a good article, right? And then you submit it. But you don't know anything about the content, right? You have not had the knowledge, right, to write the content yourself. Instead, you depend on an automation tool. ChatGPT itself gives some tools to analyze the text, right, for some pattern analysis to determine whether that article was generated primarily by another LLM, right, by the ChatGPT. So they make this tool available to these educators, these colleges, professors to filter plagiarism, right? See that at least will get to a certain level of accuracy. It will tell you whether it was human written or it was written by an LLM. But if somebody is using that, generating this resume with certain skills that they don't possess, right? They can still do it now. Yeah, they can look at other resumes and then do it, right? What is that we have right now to prevent that kind of abuse? Let's say we have a pre-screening, okay? In our recruitment process. We have pre-screening. We ask some specific questions, or we give some coding tests. That's how we assess the actual skills, right? To see whether the skills match the resume. ChatGPT can do that also. We are playing around with this idea of pre-screening, right? So we want to see if this GPT model can administer this pre-screening on our behalf and then assess the skills real time, right? And then based on that, if the candidate has the specific skills, then they will be shortlisted for an actual interview, right? In-person interview. I guess those are the things that we can do. Did that answer your question? See, if in terms of reviews, if somebody's generating like fake reviews, right? Like they're trying to attack a particular enterprise, the organization in the social media, right? By generating fake interviews, fake reviews. Perhaps there are some tools, right? If those reviews are auto-generated using some LLMs, right? Now you can do that actually easily, right? So maybe you can use the same tool to identify whether those are real reviews written by a human. There will be like some footprint, right? Like some markers of how a person writes versus how an LLM writes, right? Maybe some of these tools could be used to identify these reviews are fake. Or there could be other things, right? Patterns of these reviews, like where it came from, right? Like the timestamp, right? Or if there's a profusion of reviews from certain, IP addresses, certain geography in a certain time frame, right? Otherwise, we can do some pattern analysis, right? That's the job of our data analyst. But that data analysis also potentially these generative models can do, right? Because these generative models are very good at recognizing patterns, right? Some of the the newer models are not that accessible to us, but they may give us some ability, right, to to do this plagiarism check or this fake reviews or something. The abuse will be there, right? I think everybody has a brain, right? We know exactly how to, like find a loophole and then do something with it. Then the loophole will change, will become small. That's how we can. All right, another 30 minutes, maybe even less. Like just this, the topics are like some advanced topics of ChatGPT, right? So I had a discussion with Gokul. GPT, whenever we say GPT, we mean LLMs, right? GPT is the JCB thing, right? The Earthmost JCB, right? We say JCB is a company that makes that Earthmode, right? So many other companies make Earthmodes also, right? But I don't know for what reason. Maybe the JCB was the first manufacturer of the Earthmode or something. That became the name of the product itself, right? They'll say get a JCB. What they meant was get an Earthmode. Whether it was from JCB or from Toyota or Komatsu or whoever. See, that is what, like, GPT became that, right? Sometimes even we ourselves will say GPT. We don't mean just that GPT, we mean LLMs. There are so many different other LLMs, right? I think there's a slide there. We'll take a quick look at those LLMs. So, GPT took everybody's attention, right? Like they took us all by surprise. They took the risk of making their LLMs available to the entire world, right? Because of that, I think they built the brand, just like how Google built the brand for search.
So in this session, we will be looking into some advanced concepts of LLMs and NLP. So we have seen about fine tuning, prompt engineering, and how to use these models. So there are some various types of models that is within this GPT-3 itself. So these all models are part of GPT-3, but these models are specifically trained for some specific task. So let us consider this DaVinci. So there are four models: DaVinci, Curie, Babbage, and Ada. So this DaVinci is the most powerful and most capable model as of now.
And expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive too. Even ChatGPT's API is cheaper than this DaVinci. This DaVinci, we can use this for tasks like question answering, summarization, and text generation. So for this task, it is able to do the task with a high accuracy compared to these models. These models can also do some classification tasks, but with DaVinci, we can able to get the high complex questions classified in this model. So the next model is Curie. This Curie is for language translation, text sentiment analysis, and complex classifications. So we can also handle complex classification inside this Curie model. So the next model is Babbage. So this model can do semantic search in the embeddings. So it can do moderate level of classification tasks. This ADA is just a lowest model, and it can able to do only a few tasks. A simple classification or parsing text are some of the tasks done with this.
Just to provide some context, these are the four groupings of APIs that is available within OpenAI, right? So you can go to OpenAI, create a developer account. There is a playground, access. You can use the playground access to try out these different models. To a certain extent, I think it's free, right? So that you can test out these models. There are some sample examples of how to use these models also, right? This ADA is one of the I think like shallow model, right? It's not a very complex model, so that the execution cost is less, so that the cost of ownership, right? See, if you build an application that uses these APIs, right, for doing something, right, like say some text generation, summarization, classification, Q&A, and things like that, right? So you deploy, right, based on the usage, obviously, right? Based on the usage of your application, the application will use these APIs, and based on that, you pay the fee, right, to this platform, just like if you're using some AWS APIs or Google APIs, Azure APIs, right? So the idea, the plan should be, or the the approach should be, start with the smallest model, right? Understand what that ADA can do, right? So yeah, not exactly sure what the simple classification means, but then it could be something like classifying something, could be like a spam or not, or some, I don't know, text classifications and language classification. I'm not sure if that also is there, but there's enough information within this OpenAI developer portal, right, to understand what this classification means, what is what ADA can do, and if whatever you're trying to do, if ADA can solve out, try it there first, right? Then you can climb the complexity matrix, Babbage, then query, and then find it out. The demos that we use is the downs, yeah.
Yeah. So all the demos we have used DaVinci model because it is the most powerful model. Our tasks are like a generative content generation. So we have used DaVinci model. So choosing the right model is also an important point. So if you are solving a problem that just needs a simple classification or parsing text, you don't want to go with DaVinci. We can go with the ADA itself. Comparing to this DaVinci, ADA is a very cheapest model. So you can accomplish that task in the ADA itself. You don't want to go with the DaVinci, which is which is having a more pricing.
So other CPU, ADA CPU.
All these are running on their servers. So we don't want to care about CPU or GPU, but these are just a small task which can be handled in CPU. So let us move on to the integration part. So how you can build a pipeline from the scratch to the deployment. So we can just walk through the details of building an application using this GPT or ChatGPT. So the first part is data preparation. So let us consider any examples. Take the summarization example. So there may be a document that you need to summarize, that you want to be summarized. So take the document. So the document may be having some images or other non-text characters. So if we can't ingest this images or images into videos or images into this GPT models. So that we need to do some pre-processing steps where we will be removing this images, videos, and just collecting the text that is in the document. So we will gather all those texts, and we will be using if we want to fine tune that model, we can fine tune the model. So that we have seen that fine tuning and prompting are two different things. So if your use case is like a more specific into a domain, you can go for fine tuning. If your use case is a generalist domain, you can go for prompting. So you can select fine tuning or prompting based on the use cases. So after doing the pre-works, and we will be go for model selection. So we have seen these models. So we will be choosing the right model for the right solutions. And after the model selection, we want to integrate with our application. So in ChatGPT, you can just go to that website. You can enter the prompt and get the results. But when we want to integrate into our application, we just want to do that with the APIs they are providing. So then you have to open an account. So I think you know all these details. You have to create an account and create an API key for that integration. And you can use those API for the application usages. So whenever you are integrating with your application, when you prompt something, this prompt will go to their ChatGPT or GPT-3's API, and you will get the results back as a response. Response like you can get the HTML response or some JSON response in the backend. That you can process that JSON or text into the front end. So this is just a application overview. So you can deploy that application into your environment or cloud environment. So this model monitoring is an important point. As we have already said, you have to find refine the prompts iteratively. So we have to monitor these models whether the model is performing good or bad in the meantime. Regularly, we have to check in a regular period, and we have to refine the prompts and do all the process again in the pipeline.
So many of these tasks are technical tasks, right? For a data engineer, ML engineer, or digital person, right? But a non-technical, digital marketing person or an HR person can still use prompt engineering, right? You will be using ChatGPT as your, tool. You can, prompt it there, tune it on what you're trying to do, and then get the answers that you want. The only problem with ChatGPT is be careful with what you give, right? Because it is a public search preview, right? So your data is public, right? Like if you have some data that has some privacy, concerns, don't put it there, right? That's quite important, right? That we should understand that. But if it is something like if you're giving some prompt to generate your own resume, or you're giving some generic information to generate a job description or some other text, some other document that does not have any privacy issues, for example, we saw those prompts, right? Like for example, if you have a monthly one-on-ones with your team members, you just need some guidance on what questions that trigger a good conversation, or you want to create a learning 15-minute learning for customer de-escalation or something like that, right? See, those are good use cases, right? Where you can definitely use the power of these LLMs to give you some ideas, suggestions, some draft content, right? That you can work, work on top of. If you're in an application that has some privacy, constraints, yes, then you should be using these. You should be you should be using those models, right? Those 4 classes of models, right? You can create your own an API key, right? Within that API key, the data that you give to prompt and train those models, right, to generate the output that you want, you will have some kind of that will be that be boxed, right? There won't be any privacy constraint. So make sure that you understand the difference between using ChatGPT, which is a public research preview, and then the other APIs which are private. That's why you don't pay for ChatGPT, right? They're basically using us to test their models, right? Just like how Google uses Google search, right? For user behavior analysis and search and things like that, right? So know the difference. You can use prompt engineering when you know what it is meant for, and if for anything else for developers, if you're building an applications, you're better off using this create a playground account within this OpenAI and then use it.
So let us move on to the embeddings part. So you have seen a question answering demo in the first session. So that question answering demo is we have used this embeddings method in the backend. So this document question answering is GPT and ChatGPT only allows 4,000 tokens, which is more or less equal to 4,000 to 5,000 words. But the document contains every larger document contains more than 10 pages. So these 10-page documents may be having a 10,000 words or 10,000 tokens. We can't process this document straight away in the GPT-3. so that we have to use some embeddings methods. So this embeddings is like converting words and phrases into numerical vectors so that the model can understand the meaning of that word in a vector space. So these machine learning models and NLP models only accept numerical values. It can't understand the words and phrases. So we are converting this words and phrases into numerical vectors. So you can see here this vectors. These vectors contains the contextual and meaningful information. Here you can see bulb, LED, light, and fan are grouped under one single cluster. Like these are related words, so they are under one cluster. So here you can see charger, batteries, drill tools and all. So these are some mechanical tools that we use in garden or something. So these are grouped under this cluster. Likewise, all these words are converted into some embeddings where the contextual information is persisted, and we can have a meaningful database like this in the embeddings. So we will convert this document into embeddings so that all the informations are meaningfully converted into vectors, and we will be using this vectors as we will be saving this vectors in a database. There are some embedding database. We will be querying this database. So if you want a question from the document, consider an example of employee handbook. So you are working in a company, the company will have an employee handbook. So this handbook will have so many columns about company policies, terms and conditions, attendance policies, leave policies. So you want to query about leave policy. So if you give a question about, tell me about leave policy, this query will be sent to the vector database, and these embeddings will identify the exact query and take the relevant information from the database, embedding database, and give the exact result of that query. So this is the embeddings. Embeddings. So we can pass any number of pages with this embeddings, so that this limit can be, we can break this limit and use this embeddings as a key tool for the larger use cases.
So prompting is everybody can do. See, that's the lowest common denominator, right? Then there's the embeddings, right? We are still not in the fine tuning world, right? What we are doing is, this is a text document. I create embeddings of this text document, make it available in the database, and then make it the database available for this GPT to query, right? Because these embeddings, cluster these words, that are that have a same semantic meaning. So it can, if you search for, like you said, if you search for leave policies or some, attendance or taxes, insurance, whatever, right? It can go to that words and phrases within those documents that has very close semantic relationship to your query. And then, because it is a generative model, right? It can take those terms and phrases and then put together sentences that make sense and then respond it back to us in a paraphrased manner, right? Not just copy pasting some text here and then. It will paraphrase what is the leave policy of that particular organization, even if the data is mentioned in different parts of that particular one. This is quite, doable in the sense that it does not require a lot of fine tuning or anything like that. There's a process for creating embedding and making the embedding available for your APIs, OpenAI APIs to consume.
So the next topic is plugins. Now the ChatGPT is currently trained up to 2021's data. So if you ask about today's events or today's current trends, it can't able to answer the it can't able to answer the question, because it is only trained on the past data, 2021 before 2021's data. So if you want to create application or create any model that needs to be update daily. So if you want to make a weather chatbot, so you want to know the weather of yesterday, today's weather. It should also predict the tomorrow's weather. So we can what we can do is we can create some plugins where this new data is injected into the chat GPT like models, and this GPT can interpret this information and give the results. So it is in development phase. This chat GPT are releasing their plugins for only limited number of peoples. So here we can include any number of plugins based on the use cases. So these plugins it can take the recent data. It can take the personal information of any company. If you want to build a specific app for the company, it can ingest all this data into it. We can create plugins for that. So we can do that using these plugins.
Plugins are like, if you visualize, like we create apps and then put it in the Play Store, right? That's equal to this. Like we can create plugins and then put it in this like a GPT Play Store, right? Plugins can do certain specific things, right? For example, I know there's a plugin from Expedia, right? These plugins are not available to us just yet, right? Like I think there are only selected plugins that has been created, deployed, and then even testing of those plugins is only like limited to selected audience, but soon they'll open it up. Right? So Expedia is equivalent to like this Make My Trip, right? It's a travel, hotel reservation, flight, and things like that, right? So Expedia has the database of, like flight information, hotels, car rentals, other things, right? By using this Expedia plugin, right? This GPT can not just give you some suggestions, right? You can go and then ask GPT, hey, I want to go for a 1 week trip to Goa. What should I do? It say, okay, catch a flight, go land there, book into a room. From there, you can go and see these beaches or whatever, right? The next day you can do this. The third day you can do this. All those things, it can give us a suggestion. You can build an itinerary, right? But with the help of this Expedia plugin, let's say that's available. It's not just, it won't tell you like, take a flight. It'll go and search what is the date that you're traveling, how many people, like do you want a, cheaper flight or, like more efficient flight, like a non-stop flight. Then it'll look at all these options and then say, hey, this is the flight I chose for you based on your criteria. I'll not just that, with the Expedia plugin, I'll go and make the reservation for you, flight reservation, hotel reservation, and then what are other things, right? It doesn't just say, but it can do it for you. So plugin is the eyes and ears of this generative model to the outside world, to the internet, right? For developers, right? For this technology companies like us, this will be like a big area of activity, right? We will be building plugins for like so many different use cases, just like how we build mobile apps and publish it in this Play Store, and then make those plugins available for others to consume. Yeah. Plugin demo. So this is just a demo of a plugin.
So this is like a browser-based plugin. So if we ask what human rights were introduced in the year, it is able to detect some private information about United Nations organization in the document and be able to do that on the fly and give the results. So these informations are not trained on the ChatGPT. So we can do that using this plugin. We can retrieve the information from the documents or some site, which is these documents are just released in the recent times. So we can do that using this plugins.
And you need somebody that we want to go back. So this is an unverified plugin. I think there are people who can publish unverified plugin. Not everybody, but there is a I think waitlisted providers. So this plugin will provide the contextual information for this GPT to consume and then answer specific questions.
So another area of recent implementation is auto GPT. So consider a task so you want to build a business. So you want to build any branding business for your own company. So you want to create you want to build a website. You want to publish it to the many people. You want to do some promotions and campaigns for that for your business. So these are so many tasks for achieving success in your business. So this this subsequent steps or process can be done using AutoGPT. This AutoGPT is like a project where it uses GPT's APIs like the GPT 3 and 3.5 to do multiple tasks iteratively without any intervention. So if you want to build a website in ChatGPT, we will be prompting build a business, build a website like this in this technology, build a website in React with this components, and we will be doing this prompts. And after that, we will be generating write a product description for this page or write a product campaign for this business. Now we will be generating all this in a separate task. So all these tasks are combined together, and we can do that using the AutoGPT. Here you can see a video. This video is exactly about writing a podcast. So this podcast, it will be automatically generated podcast about the recent trends. So daily, it will this AutoGPT will take the recent trends, and it will create a task list like this. So this task list will have top five topics in that day, and this task list will create the podcast for every topics, and this topic is published in the any portal they are mentioning. This is like a pipeline of tasks that needs to be done on every single day to improve that podcast audience. So this can be done using AutoGPT. This is the power of AutoGPT. We don't want any intervention in this AutoGPT. It can do that automatically.
It can help you ideate also. I have seen some demos wherein even if you're not sure what business to start, say, but if you have some idea of I want to build a business that is eco-friendly, right? That is sustainable, right? That is vegan, I don't know, right? If you can give that context, it can go and then do internet search on your behalf, ideate, and then it can come and give you specific idea of okay, maybe you can generate a business that does some a bakery, right, that only uses a sustainable material. Okay, I want to let's go ahead with that business. But what will be the products or those bakery items that I can make in the bakery, right? Then it'll ideate on what those items could be, right? How I can source those ingredients in a sustainable manner, right? How can I create a brochure website, to promote that business, right? Where and how I should promote it. What networking events should I attend, right? Like who could be your ideal customers, right? All those things, right? Like that it can ideate, with a sequence of steps. It'll go and search it. Maybe it'll use some plugins. Maybe it'll go and search the web, or maybe it can use its own knowledge base, right, to put together an idea from scratch, and then perhaps even do some of it. It can bake for you, but it can generate a website, with this theme, and then with this product catalog or something. So that's AutoGPT, right? It's with more plugins available, this AutoGPT will become more and more capable of doing many of these tasks chain together from start to end. So
this GPT-3 is it has gained huge attention among the public. There are also many other LLMs which were used in the past, which we were using in the past, and still it is evolving its capabilities. This is the Palm is Meta's language model. Some of these language models outperforms GPT-3, but we don't know we don't know the capability, and we are not using it in the right way. So apart from this GPT-3 and OpenAI's model, we can also use this model for some specific tasks. For text classification, this BAM can outperform GPT-3. So for some specific tasks, we want to explore other alternative options apart from this GPT-3. So there may be some these are developed by some open source organizations, and they have released it for a free version. It is still evolving, and more models are being built today. So we want to also explore in that side.
So these models are accessible now, right? You have
Yeah.
APIs or like you can download the model.
Yeah, we can download these.
Last slide.
Yeah.
Last slide one. Okay.
So this is the future of LLMs. Today, we are using more multimedia. Images, videos, audios, and all. It's not just about text. We are also using other forms apart from this text. You can say example of GPT-4. This GPT-4 is a multimodal language model. It can able to take an input as an image, and it can generate a text from it. It can generate an image from it. So these are like image to image translation, or image to text, image to audio to image. So all these are possible with this multimodal language model. So this will be the future of these LLMs. So now we have the text-based LLMs. Now it will evolve, and we can able to generate images, videos with just one single prompt in the future. So this is the future of the LLMs. And domain-specific language models. So there are some domain-specific language models like the BioGPT. That's a model called BioGPT. It can able to say all the informations about science, biology, and medical related things. So that model is completely trained on a biological data set, and it can able to answer all the biological questions. It is like a BioGPT. So like BioGPT, we have other models like a Bloomberg GPT, which can be doing specific tasks in that specific domain. So in future, there will be some more domain-specific language model which can replace the GPT. We can use that domain-specific language model directly into our applications. So that may be a possible future of this LLMs. So and explainable language models. So this explainable language model, now we are using GPT-3 and ChatGPT, but we don't know the backend behind this. So how it is designing something, how it is generating something. We don't know it is like a black box model. We don't know how it makes decision based on our input. So it is like a decision science. So we will be having some more technologies like federated learning to know about their language model and how it works on how it is giving the answer, how it is making decisions. So that may be a possible way of improvement. So the important part is privacy and security. Now we don't have the GPT on our hands, so it is in their hands. We are just using their APIs, and our data is sent to the model, and it is giving us results. So if we give a private data, our private data to them, it's like we are exposing our data to them, so that they may delete or they may use it for their training purposes. So this privacy and security is an important concern in nowadays. So I think GPT-3 is implementing age restriction in the future. So only a person above 18 plus years can use that, because now children are using this. They may use it for right purposes or wrong purposes. Based on the user, it may differ. So there may be some privacy and the security implementations into these LLMs. So these are the futures of LLMs.
All right, good. So just to summarize this, this is the first session was like what is already available that we're doing. The second session is about what is happening like now and then in the very near future. Right? So the possibilities are endless. We are only limited by our own imagination or lack of the subject matter expertise, right? Like, so a technical expert with the help of a subject matter expert can put together really interesting applications, that can solve quite a few problems. Even those problems you cited, yeah, right? Like plagiarism, right? Fake reviews or something like that. I'm sure, like, there could be something that could, like a plugin or some variation of that can help general audience, right? Like the other users to identify whether this particular data or this sequence of reviews or a real or fake. Thank you. I think we'll have a question. Yeah, please. And after this, we will have a general Q&A, right? Four 4861 4674.
This was called difficult. Yeah, but sure.
Ram Prasad and Ganesh.
Yeah, what is that?
Oh, okay. First one is Josh. Join.
The tile, no,
This one.
there's no tile.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like the presentation is over. Now we just have Q&A. Whatever you guys have. Okay. Look like maybe over 10 minutes. Then we'll find it.
ChatGPT say that listening, say they have 2 questions. First question is like, what is the distance between X and Y? So, if I ask this question, and the second question is like, how much time? This is the second question. How does it relate first question to the second question? Is it answer?
So this works based on the memory capacity of the ChatGPT. So it can able to remember up to 4,000 tokens. So the first question is like, what's the distance between A and B? So it will remember this question. And after you are asking the next question, about that any distance, so it can able to remember from the past events. So it is the attention mechanism. Like it will store the relevant information, the required information in its memory, and able to answer for the next subsequent questions. So if you are asking many questions, or if you are asking 50 questions, at the end of the 50th question, there may be a token limit. Token limit may be exceeded up to like it will be like consider 5,000 token. Then it will hallucinate something else. It will not remember the past. So it can able to remember only the limited.
So what will you do once after the 4,000? So either we need to refresh, we need to create a new chat.
There is no possibility inside ChatGPT to remember beyond that 4,000 token. In GPT-4, they are introducing a 8,000 token variant and 21,000 token variant. So if it is released, we can use those models. Instead of using those things, we can use like either we used a question answering system. We have used some embeddings and variant something. Likewise, we can implement.
So 4,000 tokens is for a day, or it's like?
It's like a fixed thing. It's not about the day. It's for the chat session.
For one chat session.
For every chat session.
When I open a ChatGPT website, there will be a number of chats.
Yeah. So each chat will have a 4,000 token limit. So if you are asking in the first chat and asking in the second chat, it will not remember those between those chats. It is having a limit on the session itself, on the one chat.
Anything from the virtual audience? thank you for coming. I'm happy to see a good turnout. The intent of this event is to spread the knowledge. Like we've been working on this, it is quite fascinating for us to see like what this, the LLMs are capable of. We want to share that with the community so that we can spread the knowledge. I hope you found this interesting. I think there is a feedback.
Now it's time for the winner to announce. So can I have Joel, Pandi, and Ram to come forward? Joel, Pandi, and Ram. Ram Prasad.
It's that keeps on giving. I thought chocolate was the gift.
Can I have Joel first?
Hello. First of all, it was a great session by both of you. It was very good. Actually, I just came to explore about ChatGPT. I have used it just for a past week. As soon as I heard about ChatGPT, I was curious to hear about it, and it was a mind-opening session for me. Thank you.
Well, thank you, CK. And so I didn't expect that the session will be much good. Also, now so last 2 weeks are ChatGPT use பண்றேன். But நீங்க வந்து I mean from the scratch I mean எப்போ ரிலீஸ் பண்ணாங்களோ அப்ப இருந்து நீங்க வந்து ஒரு எக்ஸ்ப்ளோர் பண்ணுங்க. So we need to explore more than
ரொம்ப தேங்க்யூ. நிறைய இன்சைட்ஸ் கிடைச்சிச்சு. பட் இட்ஸ் ஃபீட்பேக். ஐ எக்ஸ்பெக்டிங் மோர் ஆன் technical side, but here there are more non-technical persons also. It's very interesting, more people involved in how ChatGPT works. I think it unlocks the power of everyone, not only for. Thank you.
Technical in the Mari,
in architectural point of view, how they process the data, where the data resides actually. They have to make some decision. What data have to be provided to train the. It's all about what data will have be given to that model, right? If we give wrong data, it's how it's trained. How they filter the data. First of all, where they.
So the embeddings, like if we had a more technical demonstration of how we created the embeddings, how we stored in the embeddings database on the Mari. Perhaps we'll try to plan another more. Thank you.
Thanks, Ram. Okay, now it's time to award our speakers for their wonderful talk. So can I request Prem to come forward and present the gift to Mohamed Illiyas? Can I have some applause, please? So we would request to, I request to share your feedback. So just scan this code. So you'll be getting a Google form. Just submit your feedback, please. That would help us to grow more. The people who are